it because the attorney prosecuting this case lied to the judge and is now under investigation.
The Hennepin County attorney, who just took office last week, said she had no choice but to dismiss the charges. Jennifer Hoff digs deeper into what happened.
Court documents say the case against a now 35-year-old suspect dates back to 2019 when he was living with his family, including a then 14-year-old cousin. The documents accuse him of raping her, saying she was his, but it wasn't reported for 2 more years. The suspect eventually arrested, his trial starting last week, except on Friday, he was unexpectedly released from custody. Newly elected Hennepin County attorney Mary Moriarty saying she dismissed the case because veteran prosecutor Catherine McEnroe admitted lying to the judge. Mitchell Hamline School of Law professor Joseph Daly isn't involved in the case, but calls what happened unusual.
Quite sure that it's colossally painful for the victim to see this alleged perpetrator walk away.
In a statement, Moriarty said a victim's advocate passed McEnroe a note while the victim was testifying, reminding her where the crime happened, saying while that isn't a violation, McEnroe then lied about what the note said, the judge ordering the suspect's release, Moriarty saying they were unable to proceed. Could her office have taken another path?
Please tell me your name.
My name is Don Landrum. I represent the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, Juvenile Prosecution. I'm a victim advocate and LSS.
How you doing today?
I'm doing well.
What brought you here today?
I got a story to tell. I just want to get some stuff off my chest, and we're just gonna talk about it. You're
in the right place because I got something to say, and we're the voice of the voiceless. So I know they call you twin. Is it okay for me to call you twin?
Yes.
Go ahead and give us what you got. Tell us what you got on your chest.
What I got on my chest is, I'm kind of heated about one of our prosecutors in Hennepin County lying to the judge about a case that was a closed case. It was a open the door case that should have been a done deal, but it got dismissed because all the evidence was pointing to this individual about a rape that he committed. So that the prosecutor lied to the judge, they had to dismiss this case. And me and my colleagues was very heated about this. And I'm just, I'm here for a change in the community as far as the crime rate, everything that's going on. Everything that's going on.
So let me back up a little bit. Now, you're an advocate for the prosecution.
Yes.
So my question to you, would your positioning be any different if you were an advocate for the defense?
I would say, mentally, no. It's no difference because I have a job to do. So my job will be to find probable cause or reasonable doubt that the individual committed this crime as a defense advocate. But as far as prosecution, my job is to make sure all the evidence is there. I got to lay out all the evidence for the attorney. My job is to get the witness prep for trial testimonies. Any victims, I have to make sure the victim input statement is made. They either can read it in court or I read it for them. That's my job. So I'm there for the victim. If it was defense, I would be there for the defense.
But in this case, you'll be advocating for the defense, and at this time your client would be walking away. So would it be advantageous to you to have that verdict be?
So as an advocate, I have to put all personal feelings to the side.
Is that ethical? Is that part of the profession? Where is that coming from? Is that your personal?
That is part of the profession. Okay. If I don't put the personal feelings to the side, I wouldn't be able to conduct my job properly.
Do you find that to be a thing in your field? Because I feel my personal feeling is that these individuals, officers, COs, POs, they wear their jobs on their sleeve. They're highly upset. They have this animosity against me for no reason.
Right.
Do you find in your field people take the same approach that you take?
I feel with the job I do, I feel that we do get personally involved because some of our trials go months, years, sometimes year after year, and we're getting to know these people on a personal level. and we let them vent to us. We get to know them with first name base. Sometimes we go to their house, meet them at the mall if they want to talk about stuff. We have counseling for them. Not saying that I'm a counselor. I'm not in that profession, but I try to let them vent so they can feel at ease with my presence.
So that's a conversation that I've had with individuals who are on the opposite side. Individuals who've been the advocates have been on the prosecution side, and they have walked with the person through the court proceedings, the conviction. Then after conviction, the advocacy stops, and there's no more. To me, it just seems like it's this superficiality that comes along with it. There's really no personal experience. So how do you disconnect so you're doing all these things with that individual up to the conviction, and then after that, no contact? Nope,
that's not how it works.
Okay.
Our job is to make sure that person is doing okay with the verdicts. We keep in touch with them years after that, months after that. We give them our communication information to reach out to us if they want to talk. If they need some counseling, guidance on anything, we have all them resources. So we're there to get them the information that they need well after the verdict.
And I don't know, maybe you don't know this, but I'm asking the question anyway.
Okay.
Is there more money on the prosecution side than is on the defense side when it comes to advocacy? Is the same budget being used?
Same budget.
The same amount is it the same amount of advocates on both sides?
Same. I would say those are probably numbers I don't know, but it's the same budget, same pay. There's no different pay scale. You got to have the same type of training, same type of schooling.
What does the schooling look like?
Like, for instance, I was going to school to be a police officer. I got hired by Minneapolis. They paid for my first 2 years. I completed my first 2 years, got an associate's degree. Got into the police force academy. The economy went belly up, and back in 2008, they dropped me and 60 other people in the city of Minneapolis. So I took it upon myself to go back to school. I went and got my undergrad. So once I got my undergrad, I started looking for jobs. I saw the county hiring. I applied for 2 or 3 jobs. This is the first job they called me and said, come in for an interview. I got interviewed by Mike Freeman and two other his colleagues when he was in office. They loved what I had to say. They hired me. I've been there 5 years now.
How do you feel about Mike Freeman?
I think this is just my opinion.
Be honest.
I'm being very honest. He has a bad rapport with the community, but from getting to know him for the past 5 years and he's just leaving office, I would say that a lot of people have I think they have the wrong views of him. I think he's about equality. This is just my opinion. I used to think the same thing that the community thinks about him because of the cases that he had to make decisions over the cop shootings and all that. I used to hate him too, just like that before I got into the county. But once I got to know him and talk to this man every day, it was a different outlook.
So I'm gonna challenge you on that. Give me an example of something that I would, because I know, so I've seen Mike Freeman walk through City Hall and I called him an asshole.
Right.
When he walked through during this, we had a little deal going on for Bobo, and I called him an asshole. This is what I know. But give me something to maybe change my mind and make me think different about a Mike Freeman.
Well, he's really looking out for the people of color that's employed, and he put outlets out there for us to be. If we want to talk about things, if we disagree with him, he gives us the opportunity to express our concerns about something that he disagreed with, and he documented everything. And he made some changes after we put a word out there about something we disagree with what he said. So I can't get into detail about that, but we saw the change made, and it seemed like he's advocating more diversion and inclusion within the county, and that's just from what I'm seeing. Because I had a whole different outlook on him until I started working with this.
What was your outlook on him prior to? What did you think about Mike Freeman?
Similar to yours.
Okay. And it was based on his cases,
decision making. I felt some of the cops should have got prosecuted. That Jamal, on Plymouth.
Yeah.
I felt like he didn't make a lot of the right decisions, and I just felt, it was just a lot of things happening, and when it was like one thing after another that's going against our community and people of color, then we're gonna have that different view about him.
Did you ever have that conversation with Mike Freeman about those decisions?
I actually did.
What did he say? Can you say?
He just actually broke it down for me about how people of color feel about him, and he don't blame how people feel about him but he look at himself as doing his job as a county attorney, as the lead county attorney. He has a job to do, and he made all his decisions based off of evidence and what he had in front of him, and he didn't want to make he emphasized about what looks like the wrong decision to the public. It was the right decision in actuality with the facts that he had presented it to him.
That's funny. That's funny, and it's a great segue into my next question to you, because now we looked at Mary Moriarty and we also looked at Martha, both running. At that time, would you be more of a Martha fan or more of a Mary fan? I
personally know Martha. I voted for her. I'm sorry she's not in there. She was a prosecuting attorney before she was a judge. So the prosecutors was advocating for her to win this election. It didn't happen that way.
When I get back on camera, when I actually sit down and interview you, I'm going to go over our coverage of Martha and Mary. And when you go to YouTube, if you actually watch our show, you'll see that we were instrumental in making Mary Moriarty the prosecutor. But we can talk about that later. Okay. But I want to talk about...
So are you saying y'all advocated for her to win?
We didn't advocate for her. We actually were the ones who broke the story that Mary or Martha had not... Her license was expired.
Okay.
That was our story that we put out before anybody.
You mean while running?
While she was running.
Because she had to retire.
But she was supposed to, but in order for you to run as a county attorney, your license must be valid in the state of Minnesota. You must have a valid license. It doesn't matter what she was doing prior, because she was a judge prior, but she never, although we know she was a lawyer, she didn't go through the processes of being for that office. Was a conversation. Right. We can talk more when I get on camera if you want to talk about that. What I want to talk about is just advocacy. What does that mean to you?
It means that that I'm there for the people that need us. I am the voice for the people.
Voice of the voiceless.
Voice of the voices.
Yes, sir. Right show.
And if they want to write down something that they can't say live direct to the other person they're going against, I'm that person that's going to.
So you can understand and say it?
I can read a victim input statement.
Okay.
That's my job.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How much, so when I went through my trial, I had advocates on mine, and I'll actually divulge my case and everything to you as we sit down and talk. So we're straight up, we're transparent here. Okay. But I felt as though the county did as much as they possibly could to get these victims to come to testify against me, but it was more advantageous. It was like almost putting like, that if you do this for us, we'll do this for you.
Right.
And to me, that's not advocacy. To me, that's just a bargaining tool.
But in the eyes of the law, that's quid pro quo.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So you got to look at it. You give me this, I'm gonna give you that.
But it takes the validity, because if you're going to do something, you're going to do things like you said. You're an advocate.
Right.
You advocate from the goodness of your heart.
Yes.
Admirable, noble. Yes. But then it's like, for you to get this individual to testify against me, you have to I'll give you housing. I'll make you the victim. Okay. Yes, that's what so you're awakening my ignorance, because that's what I've assumed has gone on.
No, it's against policy. It's against an advocate can lose their job if they're offering something like that.
Okay.
So it's against policy. It's against ethical reasoning, all that.
What is your degree in?
Criminal justice.
So it's a degree in criminal justice got you the advocacy position. And
I trained over a year for the advocacy. I went to St. Cloud State. I had to do training there, and I had to get certified.
Is it intern? You're doing internships?
I did. I started as an intern. I was a juvenile mentor as working in the ERC with Hennepin County. So they saw that on my resume. So they pulled me in, and they wanted to train me more.
Okay.
So after I graduated, they trained me. It took me a whole year to learn how to do this.
Was it more so your color, your being a male? Did you check a box? Did you feel like that was the reason they brought you in, or they brought you in specifically on your academic or your training? Because it seems like I don't see as many black males in the position that you. I'm mostly white females.
And I'm gonna be honest with you on that tip. I'm the only black male in the division.
See, that's what I'm getting at.
Right.
So it was this check. I'm not trying to say that. I'm not taking any away from your accreditations, your intellect, your astuteness. I'm just saying that you're the first individual I know to be an advocate that's an African American male.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. From what I'm seeing, it's just like the cop thing. We're not having enough African American males applying for these type of jobs. You know, they shut themselves short. They sell themselves short. So they committed to being that landscaper or being that roofer or working at McDonald's, and there's so much more they can excel to.
Do you have a felony?
I have no felonies.
Is that part of the background check of being an advocate?
Yes, it is. Yes,
so
it is.
Could that be the reasons why minorities aren't in those positions because of the background check?
Well, I think this is just me. If we educate our kids at an early age, you know, we could. You know, I got raised by a strong black woman. 6 boys, 1 girl.
Are you originally?
I'm not from here.
Where you from? Chicago. What part of Chicago?
111th and Ashton.
What's up, bro?
Morgan Park.
It's bad boy. What's going on, man?
Exactly.
Wild Hunnets.
You know, already know. And I grew up around gang.
Yes, sir.
Gangster disciples, GDs. I grew up around them. I ain't gonna lie. I almost threw it up. No, I was joking.
What's up, Hoover?
Put that on Larry. But see, but I feel like I'm a pillar in the community because I talk to people a lot. I talk to everybody know me and my brother. I'm a twin. I'm an identical twin.
Okay, we was gonna ask you about that.
So everybody know that we always on that positive aspect of looking at life, and we try to advocate that to the community outside of county and whatever on a personal level.
When did you come up here from Chicago?
I was in. Oh, forgot to mention, I was in the military, so I came here. I was in the Navy.
Oh, what part? I was in the Navy also. Go ahead.
So I came here in 1990. While exiting out the Navy, I was getting in trouble with the law then. Started selling drugs. I did all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that you're coming up to Minnesota. What brought you to Minnesota?
My sister had moved here in '84. I came up here shortly after I got out the Navy. She was already here after she left high school. Married her kid's dad, and I came up here to check it out. Didn't know the winter was gonna be like this, but I loved it. So, but I've been here ever since. Okay. I got here in 1990, so that's 32 years.
What is your twin doing?
He is retired. He's retired.
You're too young to be retired.
Yeah, don't let the look fool you.
Black don't cry.
Black don't cry. I'll be 56 on my next birthday.
Get out of here. Yes. Oh, you look good, man.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate that. You look real good.
I'm supposed to be retired.
I want to look that good when I hit 56.
Hey, look, still got a head full of hair.
And still black. Looking good, boy.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it. I'll be 56 March 11th.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got almost all time. Just discombobulated. What high school did you go to?
Morgan Park.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. So you do a podcast also.
Yes.
How long have you been doing that?
No more than a month and a half.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Is it
because we're reaching out to the community still, and it's been seen nationwide from what I'm hearing.
Okay, that's great, phenomenal.
Yes.
I'm glad you came on our show. I'm glad you gave us the opportunity to interview you. Thank you. It's great to see that. I mean, although I'm sure when I sit down we're going to have words, but it's great to see someone on the opposite side who's actually doing something and actually didn't get vetted out. Because a lot of times what happens in these positions, they vet us out for whatever reason. We don't make it to where you're at right now.
Thank you.
So it's great.
And I've been told that from the young bucks in the streets, like, man, I hope I get where you at. Well, they tell me this.
Yes.
And so that makes me want to indulge more on advocating for, man, try to live your life to the fullest. Don't short your life. I try to tell these young guys that, like, be there for your child. If you got a child, live for your child. I tell these guys that.
Yes. So what as far as the podcast is concerned, what are you guys attempting to do with the podcast? You mentioned some of the guests you had on.
Yeah, so it's called What's Up, Chris? You can find it on House of Kings Studios. We do interviews with various artists. It could be an actor, it could be a rapper, it could be an NBA player, it could be an NFL player. We did a Super Bowl champion, Brian McKinney, as well as B Money from Digital Underground. Okay. On that first one. Okay. Second one we did CeeLo Green. He just gave us a lot of input about his experience in Minnesota. Okay. So we didn't want to, drill nothing in his head to press him for.
What are you guys attempting to do with the podcast? Is it a message you're trying to bring? Is it just a conversation you guys trying to have? Just
trying to do something different, for people of that look like us on a platform of entertainment. So, it's all in fun. I do this on a volunteer basis. I don't get paid for this. So, I feel like because a lot of people know me in the community, they're going to tune in. So.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, you got to use your pulpit. Yep. And that's the reason we sort of started our show is just we believe that the average individual has something to say. Right. You know, I mean, and your positioning or your opinion or your voice is as strong as anybody else's voice. Yes. So why shouldn't you have a platform and be able to say what you want to say? Yes. So I got something to say. Exactly. As we move out, I usually have one final question, but we covered a lot of stuff. Was there anything? Were you in athletics prior to? Did you play football, basketball?
I played football, played basketball. I recently resigned. I was a security for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Oh, okay. So yeah, I know the team personally. Okay. Did you tour or did you go around? I didn't do that. You just did it when they came to the center. I actually was there at their practice. While they practicing, I had to make sure nobody interrupted them practicing. So I was in the Mayo training facility. Okay. Yes. Okay. How was that? I mean, did you like that? That's a great experience, man. I love it. They had it's just it was the people I was working with that made me want to leave. So I'm not. Were you there when Kevin Garnett was playing? No, I was, but I was in a different position. Okay. So I was security on the floor. Okay. When they called timeout, I was target center security. Oh, okay. So I got 10 years experience with them. So you've always been in security? I wouldn't say always, but I got a lot of stuff under my belt. Like I'm actually enrolled in law school. But what's slowing me down is I feel like I'm getting too old, but I'm gonna push myself to get through it. What school are you in law? University of St. Thomas. Okay, University of St. Thomas. Yeah. Okay. And that's are you pre-law? Where are you at in the process? Well, I'm in enrollment. So enrollment. Right, they're getting all my credits together. Okay. And they're trying to see what credits they should be able to use all my credits. I attended Rasmussen College and Metropolitan State. Yeah, so they're all they do that MinSCU deal. So yeah, they're definitely all. And I need 4 more years to get that degree. So you're just trying to get up the. I'm just trying. Hey, if they hire me as an attorney, if I pass that bar, we in. That's what I'm gonna do. So that's great. What we're gonna do? We're gonna take a break. Appreciate the conversation. Come back on camera. And we're gonna talk.
I got something to say.
I got something to say.
Screen. Yeah. Welcome back. This is IGSTS. I'm SAF Moyer, prison lawyer, and you're in a grill pit. I got my man, Twin, the Don. The Don twin. We about to chop it up, y'all. He already got me going. I know he's from Chicago, so I mean he's back from the days when we was cracking at the cafeteria tables and
I'm days of the Lynchman Circle gangsters. I hate to say that, but LSU.
All right. So here we go right now. Advocacy. See, we come from two different sides. Unfortunately for me, I ended up on the opposite side, and I seen advocates as being a problem in my case, right? Because they came from the prosecution. Mm-hmm. What you're bringing to the conversation is totally different. You're telling me that the advocate is definitely there to help the individuals go through the processes and navigate them through the system.
Yeah. It's a lot of caps worn in that position because I have to do trial prep. We have to do interviews either days or hours before the trial. We got to go through questions and see if they're okay with the question, or if they don't want to be asked this question, we alternate it with another question. So it's a whole lot of stuff we go through with victim advocacy.
Okay. Then you were saying you're more so juvenile?
Yes.
So are you aware of that case that just occurred over here in St. Paul, that stabbing at Harding High School?
We're aware of it, but that's a Ramsey County case.
Yeah, definitely. But I was just saying that. So if it happened in Hennepin County, you would come in as an advocate.
I would have been on that case.
As an advocate, and you didn't at this particular time, you would advocate for the family.
It would have got sent to me or two other people as the advocate, and then we have the LSSs who work directly with the judge and the.
What is the LSS?
Legal services. I'll have to get back to you.
What did they do?
Their title is advocate as well.
Okay.
Yes.
But are they more?
But the title is LSS.
But are they more legality? Or I mean,
right.
how are they different?
Almost identical to what I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually the legal term of the victim advocacy is it's called an LSS.
Okay.
So I do CMA/LSS.
Okay.
So I'm a case management assistant. That means I'm in the courtroom before the judge, the attorney gets there and get all the witnesses together to get ready to testify.
Have you ever been in a situation when you were dealing with a person who was a victim and you felt like they weren't the victim and you feel like you were going to advocate for them, even though you maybe felt like the story might have been kind of funny?
Plenty of times, but
where did you go there?
I have to keep that stone face on, and I got to do my job. So
okay.
I'm still gonna advocate for that person, no matter what. I've been cursed out by the victims, all that. Don't call this number no more.
Are you trying to give them services?
I think their mentality is that because we're court, in their eyes, we're just the court, so they don't want to be bothered.
Okay.
So if you talk to the cop and you gave them your information, then you're going to hear from me. Okay. So I get a subpoena out. If you don't want to cooperate, I get a subpoena out, and one of our deputies is going to serve you.
And then how is that? Is that they have to come to see you?
If they don't comply, a judge can say, hey, we're going to find this person in contempt. And if they don't show up, then they can give them 9-10 days in jail for not cooperating or whatever.
Do you ever get involved with like guiding alighting issues where you have to send CPS in a situation?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I try to see, that's our job. I try to get that conversation going. I try to get them to. It's like a trust level.
Okay.
So I try to get them to listen to me, to get them on a comfort level.
Okay.
Listening to what I have to say.
Okay.
So once they get comfortable to what I have to say, then I try to let them know you are the victim. I'm here for you. I'm the voice for you in this case. So I don't want you to think I'm your enemy. So then it kind of calmed down.
A kind of tough question. I feel as though you have affinity for the prosecution. Could you feel like if you could do the same thing for the defense?
I think so.
You think you could take off that hat and be as good on the defense side as the advocate?
Yep. Exactly. I said, it's a job, so we have to follow protocol.
Okay.
And if I'm on defense, I'm gonna do the same thing for you're proven until you're innocent until proven guilty in the eyes of the law.
Yeah.
So they have to come up with a bunch of evidence to prove that you did what you did or you're guilty of what they're charging you with.
But I have my own feelings on that. I feel like the way the jail system is set up, and when they put you in jail, the way they can strip search you, the way they treat you as though you're guilty, because once they lock you up and you're accused of a crime or charged with a crime and you can't make bail, then you're subject to all the rules and regulations of the jail, which at this particular time they treat you like an animal or garbage or whatever. So to me, it's like, if I'm innocent till proven guilty, why are you treating me so deplorable?
let me correct you on that though. That's a different entity within itself. And lately in the news, the Ramsey County has been addressed about that.
What do you mean? Explain.
See, I work in the court, so that's different than the jail system. That's the sheriff's office, right, in charge of that.
Well, I'm just saying as a whole, I'm looking at the criminal justice system as a whole.
Right.
The blanket conversation is that I'm innocent till I'm proven guilty.
Right.
And I'm saying, okay, the court just said that, but when I go into the jail system, they're treating me totally different than what the court just said. Because why am I being subject to all these? I'm supposed to have these rights. Supposedly have these rights. Now I'm being reduced down to, strip searches and,
right,
sale checks and, phone calls that cost X amount of dollars, and makes no sense to me.
Right.
To me, that I'm having a problem with just opposing those two, because they don't. I mean, yeah, in court, I do feel as though I'm innocent till I'm proven guilty. Right. But when I get back in that county jail, I feel different.
Yeah, but see, for my point I'm making is we don't have any dealings with what they do in the jail system. That's all the county. That's the sheriff's office and their colleagues. They have civilian colleagues, then they got the licensed deputy colleagues,
mm-hmm,
and they look at it like if you feel like you're being violated, you have the right to file a complaint or talk to somebody superiority over that system. How
do you feel about the new sheriff, the female Dawana?
I feel like that's some type of history being made as the first black female sheriff.
She's gonna be on the show, getting on the show. The one that coming to be on the show and talk to us.
Okay.
I just reached out.
I think I met her when she was I was security for Hennepin County. So,
oh, okay.
So I met her when she was a regular deputy at one time.
Have you met her?
I haven't met her since she became sheriff.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I met her in 2013.
Okay.
Her and the other commander.
Okay.
Before she was a commander, I met her as a regular deputy.
Yeah, I just reached out to her through her planner,
yep,
and I'm hoping they get back to me and we can set something up with
I think from what I heard she has an open door policy, so she's very game to speak about anything with anybody about her position. So.
And I'm like I said, I'm welcoming her. Like I want to go back to the conversation we had when I introduced you on the narrative. We talked a little bit about Martha and Mary.
Okay.
And what I did is that we had during the race, we actually put out. I wasn't for anybody because I don't believe in after Mike Freeman did what he did, and I had the same perspective on him as you had prior to you actually getting to know him.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the prosecuting office in Hennepin County had anything good to we could never benefit us at all. So when the election actually started to run with the DA race, I sort of stood off. I didn't have a dog in the race. I didn't care. But when I got the information about Martha's her actual being registered as a lawyer or whatever it is, I don't know.
And I can honestly say this is my first time hearing that. So
well, when we ran the story, I think mainstream news picked it up.
Okay.
And her camp tried to dissipate it, saying that she did or she had or whatever. And it wasn't whether she did or she didn't. It was just the ethical issue I was having.
Right.
But with saying that, with just saying that, what I wanted to go back to is just the differences in the two candidates.
Okay.
One being a defense, and one being a career prosecutor, then a judge.
Right.
I saw that Martha was still running on that 94 lock 'em up ban. She was carrying that campaign out.
Right.
And I thought that was, for her to be an African-American female, for her to take that approach was wrong. You said that you were more of a Martha fan. You were somebody you voted for. Yeah. How did you see her?
See, I didn't look at her stats, and I didn't know none of her stats. So I just knew that she was a prosecuting attorney, and she became a judge. And prior to that, she was a nurse.
Yes.
So I do know all that. I did get to know her on a personal tip. And that probably played a role in me showing more favor on her side. Because we talked a lot as a security personnel with the Hennepin County while she was a judge.
Okay.
So I had a conversation with her off and on a lot.
Never anything with Mary, because they're in the same building. Never any
She was in defense.
The defense.
Right.
So you never
So
came.
her division was totally different than where we was located.
Okay.
So we never saw them or anything unless it was court time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other thing I had the other issue I sort of thought that Mary or Martha had was that the fact is, because you brought up her being a nurse, but she was also a single black female.
Right.
That had an African-American male sort of abandon her and her child.
I say I don't know her history.
See, I knew that history on her, and I felt as though like a lot of her issues with us, within she had such a hard-nosed, willing to prosecute African-American males. More so is the fact that she might have had the issue with the abandonment from that father. That was my own speculation.
So you're saying that because of her personal views of what she went through with a black man, correct, is how she's looking at her outlook on black men today.
Yes, I felt that because she made her history public and she ran on it as a strength. But a lot of times when I see African American females who have a situation where her whole history is that I had to work 2 jobs. I had a child by this individual who left me, but I still was able to come up. You can't tell me that there's not a feeling of harm or hurt historically within our, when it's something that, and I'm not making excuses for her. I apologize to her. Right. I apologize to you for what we've done to you as black males. Shame on us for what we've done. Right. You know, but there's no reason. Let us correct that harm and let's build off that and become a community again. Yes. Like you've been doing, brother. Right. Like I said, I'm so proud of you. Even though we don't share the same viewpoints on a lot of different issues, yeah. I think someone like your stature on that side that have the strength and the nobility that you have, right. is I can look across the field and say we might not agree upon certain things, but I know that you're doing right on your side.
I appreciate that. And I thank you for that.
I appreciate you. Now you say
and I'm gonna keep it real with you. You know who made me change my ways and things, the way of thinking and things? You know, I read Judge Mathis, some of the book.
Oh, Judge Mathis.
Judge Mathis. So, you know, looking at his story, it made me want to like, man, you gotta do something better.
What was his story? I watched
you know,
him. I remember him coming from
16
Detroit.
16 felonies.
Yeah.
Went to jail, been to jail 26 times or something like that. And he started changing his life around after his parents passed away. His mom raised him by herself, him and his, I think, 2 other siblings. And then I think his brother passed away from HIV or something like that. So, you know, I had similar story. You know, my mom raised 6 boys, 1 girl, and you know, I fed off of that. And then once I lost my mom, it made me want to do better.
Okay.
And do something for my community and the people I'm around. So, you know, I'm just trying to be a positive mark in this life I'm in right now.
So some wisdom that your mom gave you, because I mean, our moms back in the days was a wealth of wisdom, right? Yeah. All that stuff you say, you don't think fat meat's greasy, right? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. What wisdom was your mom instilling to you? I know you might not have picked it up right away, but now you think about it, it's like my mom was right on the right. You know, she hit it right on the nail every time.
Yeah. When I was in basic training with the Navy, she used to send me these letters, and that's what kept me going. She used to always say, whatever you put your mind to, never give up on it. So, and I still got them letters up to this day, like from written in 1986. I still got the letters.
Beautiful. That's when they was writing letters.
Yes.
Where do you go to basic? Great Lakes?
Great Lakes. Yes.
Great mistakes.
Great mistakes. Hey, it's the only base now.
It's the only base now? Because to me, they had like San Diego.
No, they still got, but for basic, that's the only
base. Okay.
And then they got one for the females. I think it's in Florida somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, because you know, when I was there, they had basic, they had the corpsman was there. Okay. And then they had the boiler mates. Yep. Electrician.
I was a boiler tech.
You was a boiler tech?
They got rid of that position now.
Why when you came out, why didn't you decide to continue to because there's no boilers.
I was young, man.
I said the same thing when I came out. I was like, ain't no way in hell I'm be an electrician when I came out.
Man, where the crack at?
$1 million.
I'm about to flip this 8 ball, man.
Are you ready? Hey, you ever been out to Evergreen Plaza? I know you've been to the plaza.
Every Saturday.
Yeah.
Man, I wait in line for breaking. It was a long line going down that little platform for that movie Breaking? Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, Evergreen Plaza was a spot, man. I remember my deal is with y'all area. I came up to 95th. I got off 95th, and it was I think the Mo's was, I forget who was. I think I'm
a little older than you, though.
Yeah, you're a little bit older than me. So I got off 95th, and I went over there, and it was just when we was wearing those hoodie starter pullovers.
Yep.
And we was putting the bedazzle on our hats.
Yep.
So I came over there, the Sharks that just came out, Anaheim Sharks that just came out. And you know what, on 95th, there's a railroad track that cross, and like the GDs is on one side.
Yep.
All right, so I'm wearing blue and black going down 95th on the wrong side. These cats must have pulled up on me. Skirt. It was like, where you going? You don't belong over here.
Back on that side. They put it back on the other side of the track.
I was like, oh, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute. Yeah, they drew down on me.
Yeah.
Like the police. Like, screw, like, wait, where you going, bro?
You thought it was an episode of the time.
Yeah, it was all good, man. But it was love. They showed me love. I mean, because
Same thing happened to me though. I was on 111th in Michigan. I was a little shorty coming from Mendel. Do the math on that one. Boy, I had two to the left.
Ooh.
And they was like, what set you from? I ain't know I don't even think they used that term. They weren't even out.
No, that's not even
like California.
But you brought it there.
You know, they clicking now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they clicking now.
Yeah.
There wasn't no clicks back then.
It was never.
Right.
Man,
right.
You stood, man. It was
the time when BD and GD was just like this at one time. So, and I came across about 30 vice lords. My mind said act gay. But I froze, so they literally jumped me, and if it wasn't for this man in his car, he pulled up on them, had me on the ground, whatever. He jumped out the car, stood on his hood, and shot his gun in the air. They scattered.
We got stories all day long, man.
Yeah.
You do comedy too?
I don't know. I just can't. I want to. I've been told I should, but I can't get in front of a crowd and do it.
Why not? I mean, you got the gift for gab. I mean, we come from the crib, so you know we can.
It's like I got some one-liners like that, man. I mean, they come out the top of my mind.
It just come on like is it from being at the lunch table and people cracking on you,
or starting a lunch fight, a food fight? I'll be the first one throwing something. I threw an apple all on the other side of the room. Man, they broke it out. They threw it down. All you saw was milk cartons and everything going.
You still keep in contact with people back from the crib?
Man, everybody. We got a trip coming up. We do a trip every 2 years.
Is it
Plaza 86, Morgan Park?
Okay, Morgan Park,
yes.
86.
So we've been to the Bahamas. We've been to Puerto Vallarta. We got Cabo coming up.
Yeah.
We've been to Phoenix. We did Miami. We connect every 2 years.
Okay, that's real good.
You know, we did Phoenix, Arizona. It's like in between those 2 years, we do a inside city.
Okay.
We took over Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale.
How many of y'all is?
It's just for some reason, it's just the black and brown people that's connecting. The white folk, there's a few of the white people that's connecting with us, but we got probably about 1,500.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because we got other classes connecting with us too, and they're doing these trips with us and everything.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. I mean, I haven't really reached back to my class, but yeah, it's just good to have that because that's when I left the crib. The one thing I had a problem with is when I came up here, I really didn't know nobody. Right. I didn't go to school with them.
See, my thing is I'm good at addressing myself or applying myself. Like if I ran into you, you gonna get to know me before we leave out that room.
Right.
That's how I am.
But you know that charisma come from just being from where we've come from. We got the gift for gab, but we gonna get in the mix and but it's just like I just like that friendship. Like he knew me when I was in 6th grade. Yep. He knew me when I was that I don't.
I still hang out with homeboys. Like for instance, Flav. I met him when he was 18. He's 48 now. That tell you how long. That tell you right there how long I've been knowing him.
Yeah. It's just like so. So what's you say you mentioned about doing a law degree?
Yeah.
You know that's something else on the plate. And what made you go into that field or look toward that field?
I think it felt like it was an alternative to law enforcement because I was really trying to pursue law enforcement. And once I got dropped from the program back in 2008, I had a whole different outlook on it. So it made me want to go into another revenue of law enforcement.
Right.
And that's what I did. So.
Are you thinking about prosecution, defense?
It don't matter.
Okay. But you're thinking criminal?
I'm actually thinking about private, because they make a little more money.
Oh, private practice, but in criminal law still.
It could be injury. It can be anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yep. Look at Ben Crump, that man, a million.
Yeah, I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, look at Johnny Cochran when he was the man. You know,
he was worth $40 million. Ben Crump worth $25 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always thought about being a lawyer or wanting to be a law, but I think what transformed me was just going through the criminal justice system. Yep. I learned this law, understood the law, understood how the law got down, and to me, it just seemed like it was so despicable. And the fact that the fact of the matter, you can get one case and the case can go either way. Right. It depends on the judge who's sitting on a case. To me, it doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem, and I have my own opinion of the criminal justice system because I went through it, you know.
And believe it or not, I have too. You won't believe I've been pulled over 100 times in the city of Minneapolis.
Recently.
Not recently,
but throughout your
since I became a part of that system.
Yes,
it's I learned how to talk to them. I learned everything. I learned a lot while going through the process of trying to be on that side. So
is there a certain way to get pulled over by these individuals? I mean, come on.
Just comply, no attitude, and then if you learn your laws, if you spit that law to them, they're gonna know you know your stuff. They're gonna you're free to go.
But so to me,
and keep it legit.
But to me, it's always been, and I always had this conversation with everybody I had. And if you watch the old podcast, you can hear me say that the law enforcement or the law or policing looks different if you're black opposed if you're white. Why do we have to be a certain way to deal with the police? I've seen videos where this white man get pulled over, he yelling and cussing at the police officers, and they don't do nothing but give him a ticket and walk off.
But see, that's why right now there's a nationwide push for police reform so they could be retrained for that situation. They shouldn't have to profile and you act a certain way just because the white person cussing your ass out and they don't have to. They move their hands around and you ain't drawing on them.
Right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
like I said, it's a cliche from the past, and they still trying to keep that going. They doing profiling without profiling.
Policing while you're black.
Right. It's called community policing.
But
community policing.
Is that the transitioning from is that what you're trying to transition to? Community policing? What's that say, Ron?
Talk about the racism of the police. Your experience as an MPD.
But yeah, I forgot that you were a police officer for.
I was only in there for 5 months, and like I think he forgot that I did mention that there was a lot of disparities going on.
Disparities, but don't explain.
As far as the white cops being treated different than the black cops.
How so?
It was a lot of favoritism.
Like, is it favoritism in shifts, favoritism in positions? Like, we're going to have you get this position.
But see, that's just it, because I didn't get a chance to be out on the road. So as far as the training, I was in training. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that came from the process of becoming a cop.
The favoritism?
Yes.
Or the view of the favoritism?
From what I've noticed. And ex-military, as an ex-military person, and 5 years with the federal government, I had behavior detection training. So I know it when I see it.
That's really intriguing. Behavior detection training. Right. What is?
So you can tell when you won't get that situation that's going to put you ahead of the class, and compared to the white guy just got it.
What does that look like?
It was bad at the time, so it was, I just kept seeing it over and over, and it kind of it kind of made me glad that I was dropped.
Okay.
And I felt like I was dropped because of my skin color.
Okay, okay, that's great
right.
point. Because so by trade I'm an engineer.
Right.
I started off being a maintenance mechanic. So what we say in our industry is this. So you have these old white guys who's been on the floor for 30 years, and they come in. So they have the culture, and they have this historical knowledge of machines and instruments that you have to get from them. And what they usually do is, because I didn't grow up around farm equipment. I don't have that same similarities. I don't ice fish, do none of that stuff. Yep. So they don't feel comfortable talking to me, or we don't have that immediate camaraderie that you would feel if I was somebody who grew up here and did those things. Right. So what you usually find in my industry is that I don't get trained well at all. Right. Because they're not willing to divulge that knowledge with me, or they're willing to give it to me with ad hoc. Like when I need it, they'll give it to me, but prior to that, they're not willing to pull me to the side. Like I would pull you to the side if you was a young buck. Hey, let me pull you to the side. I'm gonna give you this knowledge, put you up on game, and I found that in my industry. So when you say that about your industry, this is what's going on. I would say I look at all these sergeants, lieutenants, who've already, cut their teeth. Right. And now they're looking down at you saying that we really don't want you being a part of our culture. And if you're going to be part of our culture, you're going to have to assimilate to our culture. Right. And we're going to vet you at this particular time. Yeah. So to me, the culture, this shift, or this, what's going on is similar in all these fields. And that's why I say when you say, a cop pulls up on me and immediately I have to be a certain way, it's because he was trained to view me in a certain way. He's been programmed.
And there's also known fact that white supremacy has infiltrated our police departments all across the country.
Yes, sir.
In the past 5 decades.
Yes.
And that lead on to the next group that comes in.
Right. But because you have them training.
Right.
Those are trainers.
It's a mindset.
So when you look at a Kim Potter situation, were you on a forceback? No, you were around. That's so, but when you looked at that situation and the fact that she drew her taser thinking it was a gun, but then she was a trainer who never really drew or does that make sense to you?
No, not especially with 16 years in.
You're a trainer who've never drew, so to me, when I actually read the facts of the case, I didn't know.
Was she a 16-year veteran?
Yeah, she was the lead officer in this situation. To me, when I looked at it, I didn't know to feel sorry for her. I didn't know what, because it's just like, why would you put somebody in a position to be a trainer who doesn't really know about pulling a gun or has that experience of not, so she's maybe it was a mistake. I don't know, but
I felt sorry for the situation wholeheartedly, but my feeling changed when I found out what her sentence was.
I think we all did. Yeah. I mean, but you got to get a backdrop to
it's
that.
Like a free pass to kill somebody.
But no. But you got to understand, they made a move, and I know the dynamics behind the move, but I ain't gonna say nothing.
My opinion is, I felt that the judge showed a tremendous amount of empathy towards her feelings and felt sorry for her. She was on the stand crying with Miss Potter, and decided to make that decision.
I was told two things. The one thing I was told is that the state attorney's office was involved in this case. Mm-hmm. The other thing I was told was just when it came down to her situation is that you remember the Somali who shot that white female in the alley?
First case I was on.
Remember his sentence, he goes back and his sentence is repealed, and they had to give him all that time. They reduced his time. Well, they had to do that because they had just given him.
No. They kept it right where it was at.
I thought he got it, because I know he went back on appeal.
He went back on appeal, but the judge decided to keep it right where it was at.
I didn't know that. I thought his sentence was reduced.
I was at that court.
So you were on his.
I was just observing. I wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah. My supervisor had to do a victim input statement. The victim impact statement.
Okay.
There's an input statement and there's an impact statement.
So what's the difference between the two?
Input is just what you saw during the commission of a crime.
Okay.
Impact statement is how you feel about that person taking one of your loved ones, and it's put down on paper.
I just wanted the technical definition of it so all our fans know. You know what I'm saying? We got the master up in here. He breaking us down, and
I ain't no master.
He hitting us. I'm gonna come see him when I You know, it's all good though. So who else you got coming up on your show?
We got Lil G from Silk, lead singer Silk.
The back in the day show?
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
There's a meeting in my bedroom.
Okay. All right. Shit, I might have to check that out.
And
so
then,
what y'all want him to talk about?
We haven't even put the questions together.
Okay. So you guys have a scripted question?
Yeah.
You give it to the people prior?
No. We sit there. We write them down ourselves, and then we sit there and we'll let them know what we're going to talk about prior to the cameras rolling. Okay. So, and then I think Lil Scrappy, he's supposed to be in town next week sometime. Okay. So we're supposed to get an interview with him. Okay. So y'all doing big things. Yes. You know what I'm saying? We're the voice of the voiceless. We just, y'all, the regular Joker come on the show and, we just pull motherfuckers, right off the corner. Come on. You want to do a show? Get on the show. Do it with us. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? We can't get no Little Boosie or Scrappies or... You know what I'm saying? When if their name's Little, we can't even mess with them. Unless you go on Shelby.
Hey. Dude, who you want to make some shouts out to? We about to end this.
Just shouts out Chris, Damon, House of Kings Studios. What's up, Chris? We're supposed to be doing, Gary Owens. He did a shout out for us.
Oh, okay. I love Gary Owens.
Yes. And my brother, from another mother, his name is Steve Harris from BMF. That's my stepbrother.
Oh, the one thing was you was going to bring up that case though about the prosecutor.
Right.
You just want to talk a little bit about that. I mean, we don't have.
I don't want to get into it because I know very minimum details on it. Yeah. It was just the fact that my division in the juvenile prosecution division were highly upset that it happened. And now that she might, I even forgot her name.
Mary Moriarty.
No, McEnroe.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yes. So yeah, that's the county attorney.
Yeah, it's the county attorney.
So we just upset that it happened, and we don't know why it happened. And
were there any behind the scene movements to try to quell that unrest of the individual?
Not that we just had. At least 2 in-person meetings about it, if anybody wanted to say anything about it. And, we just stayed out claim of what we thought about it and left it alone. Okay. So, but we were highly upset that this person walked and when he should have been put in jail for more than 20 years at least. And then be on paper and be all that extra stuff that goes along with that. Disclaimer, I'm not using any names anymore. Man, okay.
All right, this is IGSTS. This is SF Mo, your prison lawyer. Signing off. Got my man Don, the twin, he everything. Don, twin, that's my man. You know what I'm saying? And it's been all good. I appreciate y'all getting in the comment box. Y'all let us know. Maybe we can get him back. You know what I'm saying? He might try. He might. This man, he might send us an invoice after this. Out of here.
I would do that to the homies.
I got something to say.